Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news updates. David Toborowsky, one of the most recognizable and talked about faces from TLC's hit reality franchise 90 Day Fiancé, has once again found himself at the center of public attention, but this time, it has nothing to do with relationship drama, controversial opinions, or reality TV conflicts. Instead, the longtime fan favorite is facing a deeply personal and painful health battle that has landed him in a hospital bed and prompted an emotional update to his followers around the world. For years, viewers have watched David Toborowsky's journey unfold on screen. From his early days navigating cultural differences and financial struggles to his marriage with Annie Suwan and their eventual rise as one of the franchise's most stable and beloved couples, David's story has always been one of resilience. But behind the smiles, jokes, and social media positivity, David has been quietly dealing with ongoing physical pain that has now reached a critical point. In a recent update shared directly from a hospital bed, David revealed that he has been diagnosed with degenerative disc disease along with severe sciatic nerve complications, conditions that can cause chronic pain, mobility issues, and significant lifestyle limitations. The update immediately sparked concern among fans, many of whom had noticed subtle signs that David had not been feeling well for some time. Lying in a hospital gown, visibly exhausted yet composed, David chose transparency over silence. He explained that what began as persistent back discomfort gradually escalated into debilitating pain that could no longer be ignored. Simple daily activities became difficult. Walking, sitting, and even resting brought discomfort, and the pain eventually started radiating down his leg, a classic and alarming symptom of sciatic nerve involvement. Degenerative disc disease, despite its intimidating name, is not technically a disease but a condition in which the spinal discs, soft, cushion-like structures between the vertebrae, begin to break down due to age, wear and tear, or injury. Over time, this deterioration can lead to nerve compression, inflammation, and chronic pain. For David, the condition appears to have progressed to a point where medical intervention became unavoidable. Sciatic nerve pain, often referred to simply as sciatica, is notorious for its intensity. It occurs when the sciatic nerve, which runs from the lower back through the hips and down each leg, becomes compressed or irritated. The pain can range from a mild ache to sharp, burning sensations or even electric shock-like pain. In severe cases, it can significantly affect a person's ability to move or function normally. David admitted that he tried to push through the pain for as long as possible. Like many people, he initially dismissed the symptoms as temporary or manageable, hoping rest or basic treatments would help. However, as weeks turned into months, the pain worsened instead of improving. Eventually, the discomfort reached a level that forced him to seek immediate medical care. Fans were particularly struck by David's honesty when he acknowledged how the condition has affected not only his physical health but also his mental and emotional well-being. Chronic pain is known to take a toll on mental health, often leading to frustration, anxiety, and even depression. David did not shy away from discussing these challenges, emphasizing how difficult it is to maintain a positive outlook when your body feels like it's working against you. Throughout his health update, one constant presence remained clear: his wife, Annie Suwan. Annie has been by David's side throughout this ordeal, offering unwavering support and care. Longtime viewers know that Annie and David's relationship was not without its challenges in the early days. Financial struggles, cultural adjustments, and public scrutiny tested their bond. Yet, moments like this highlight just how strong their partnership has become. Annie reportedly played a crucial role in encouraging David to take his symptoms seriously and seek professional medical help. In many cases, partners are the first to notice when something isn't right, and Annie's attentiveness may have prevented further complications. Her support has been evident not only behind the scenes but also through social media, where she has shared encouraging messages and updates with fans. The hospital update marked a rare moment of vulnerability for David, who is often known for his humor and upbeat personality. Instead of jokes or light-hearted content, viewers saw a more serious, reflective side of him. He spoke candidly about fear of long-term pain, fear of limited mobility, and fear of how the diagnosis could impact his future. For someone who has worked hard to turn his life around, the diagnosis came as a sobering reminder that health can never be taken for granted. David's journey on 90-Day Fiancé has been defined by reinvention. He went from financial instability to building a more secure life, from public criticism to widespread fan support. Now he faces another test, one that cannot be solved with determination alone, but requires patience, medical care, and time. Medical professionals have reportedly begun evaluating treatment options for David, which may include physical therapy, pain management strategies, lifestyle changes, and possibly surgical intervention depending on the severity of the disc degeneration and nerve compression. While David did not disclose every detail of his treatment plan, he made it clear that this is not a quick fix situation. Recovery from degenerative disc disease is often a long and complex process. It requires consistency, discipline, and realistic expectations. David acknowledged this reality, telling fans that he is preparing himself for a gradual recovery rather than an overnight miracle. He emphasized the importance of listening to doctors, following medical advice, and not rushing the healing process. The response from the 90-Day Fiancé community was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded the comments with messages of encouragement, prayers, and personal stories of their own experiences with back pain and sciatica. Many expressed gratitude for David's openness, noting that his willingness to share his struggles helps raise awareness about conditions that are often misunderstood or minimized. Some fans pointed out that chronic pain conditions like degenerative disc disease are invisible illnesses, conditions that may not always show outward signs but can drastically impact quality of life. David's update helped shed light on this reality, reminding viewers that appearances can be deceiving and that even those who seem cheerful and energetic may be fighting private battles. This health scare also sparked conversations about aging, physical health, and the long-term effects of stress and lifestyle choices. David has previously spoken about weight loss, dietary changes, and efforts to improve his overall health. While these steps have brought positive changes, they do not make someone immune to structural spine issues, especially those that develop gradually over time. As David continues his hospital stay and begins the next phase of treatment, uncertainty remains. Questions about his mobility, pain management, and future plans linger. However, one thing is clear: David Toborowsky is approaching this challenge with the same transparency and resilience that have defined much of his public life. He reassured fans that while the road ahead may be difficult, he is committed to doing whatever it takes to regain his health. He expressed deep appreciation for the outpouring of support and reminded viewers not to ignore their own health warning signs. According to David, if sharing his story encourages even one person to seek medical help sooner, then the vulnerability is worth it. As the update came to a close, David's message shifted from concern to cautious optimism. He acknowledged the pain and fear but emphasized gratitude for access to medical care, for a supportive partner, and for a community of fans who continue to stand by him beyond reality television fame. This hospital bed update marks a new chapter in David Toborowsky's ongoing life journey. While cameras may not be rolling for a television storyline, the reality of health struggles is just as compelling and far more personal. For David, this is not about ratings or drama. It is about healing, survival, and the hope of returning to a life with less pain and more freedom. And as fans wait for further updates, one thing remains certain: David Toborowsky is not facing this battle alone. With Annie at his side, doctors guiding his care, and millions of supporters sending encouragement from around the world, his journey through this health crisis is only just beginning. As the initial shock of David Toborowsky's diagnosis began to settle, the reality of living with a chronic spinal condition became impossible to ignore. Inside the hospital room, time seemed to move differently. Days blended together as doctors ran tests, monitored his pain levels, and worked to determine the full extent of the damage to his spine. For David, this period was not just about physical discomfort, it was a mental reckoning with vulnerability, uncertainty, and the sudden loss of control over his own body. Medical imaging revealed what David had long feared but hoped to avoid: significant degeneration in the discs of his lower spine. The cushioning that once protected his vertebrae had thinned, placing pressure on nearby nerves and triggering the intense sciatic pain that radiated down his leg. Doctors explained that this kind of degeneration does not happen overnight. It develops silently over years, often masked by minor aches that people learn to tolerate until the condition reaches a breaking point. For David, hearing this explanation brought mixed emotions. On one hand, there was relief in finally having answers. The pain was real, measurable, and medically recognized. On the other hand, there was regret that he had not addressed the early warning signs sooner. Like many individuals juggling work, travel, and daily responsibilities, David had prioritized productivity over rest, unknowingly allowing the condition to worsen. During quiet moments in the hospital, David reflected on the physical demands his body had endured over the years. Long flights, extended filming schedules, weight fluctuations, and stress had all taken their toll. While none of these factors alone caused the condition, together they created the perfect storm for spinal wear and tear. Doctors emphasized that degenerative disc disease is common, especially with age, but lifestyle factors can influence how quickly it progresses. Annie remained a constant source of strength during this difficult period. She helped David with basic movements, adjusted pillows to ease his discomfort, and made sure he followed doctors' instructions precisely. Her presence transformed the hospital room from a place of fear into a space of support. Their bond, once questioned by skeptics, now stood as undeniable proof of partnership in its truest form. Annie also took on the role of communicator, updating fans when David needed rest. She expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support while gently reminding followers that healing takes time. Her calm and nurturing demeanor reassured fans who worried about David's condition, reinforcing the image of a couple who had grown stronger through adversity. As treatment plans were discussed, doctors outlined a multi-step approach. Immediate pain management was the first priority. This included medication to reduce inflammation and nerve irritation, along with limited mobility to prevent further strain. Physical therapy was introduced as a long-term solution, one focused on strengthening the muscles supporting the spine, improving flexibility, and reducing pressure on the damaged discs. David quickly realized that physical therapy would not be easy. Unlike quick fixes or temporary relief, therapy requires patience and consistency. Progress can be slow, and setbacks are common. Still, David expressed determination, acknowledging that recovery would depend largely on his willingness to commit fully to the process. The possibility of surgical intervention was also discussed, though doctors emphasized that surgery would be considered only if conservative treatments failed. While the idea of surgery was intimidating, David appreciated the transparency. Knowing all possible outcomes allowed him to mentally prepare for whatever path lay ahead. Emotionally, the diagnosis forced David to confront fears about the future. Would he be able to travel comfortably again? Would pain limit his ability to work or enjoy everyday activities? These questions lingered in his mind, especially during sleepless nights when discomfort made rest difficult. Chronic pain, as many patients know, does not pause when the lights go out. David spoke openly about moments of frustration, times when he felt powerless in his own body. Simple tasks like standing up or shifting positions required effort and caution. This loss of independence was particularly challenging for someone accustomed to staying active and engaged. Yet, even in these moments, David tried to maintain perspective, reminding himself that healing is a process, not a race. Support continued to pour in from fellow cast members and fans alike. Messages from people who had faced similar diagnoses offered reassurance that improvement was possible. Some shared success stories of managing degenerative disc disease through lifestyle changes, therapy, and perseverance. These messages became a source of motivation for David, reinforcing the idea that his condition did not define his future. The experience also prompted David to think more deeply about health awareness. He recognized that many people ignore chronic pain until it becomes unbearable, often due to fear, denial, or lack of time. By sharing his journey publicly, David hoped to encourage others to listen to their bodies and seek medical advice early. As days passed, small improvements began to appear. Pain levels fluctuated but became more manageable. With assistance, David was able to sit upright for longer periods and take short, careful steps. These milestones, though modest, felt monumental. Each step forward symbolized hope, a reminder that progress, no matter how slow, was still progress. Doctors emphasized the importance of realistic expectations. Degenerative disc disease does not simply disappear. It requires ongoing management, including weight control, posture awareness, regular exercise, and periodic medical checkups. David took this advice seriously, viewing it not as a limitation but as a roadmap for a healthier future. The hospital stay also strengthened David's appreciation for everyday comforts. Things once taken for granted, walking without pain, sleeping through the night, even tying shoes, now held new significance. This shift in perspective reshaped his outlook, making him more mindful of his body's needs and limits. Annie and David also began discussing adjustments to their daily routines once he returned home. Travel plans would be reassessed, rest periods prioritized, and physical therapy sessions scheduled consistently. The focus was no longer on keeping up with a fast-paced lifestyle, but on building a sustainable one. As the second phase of treatment approached, David shared another message with fans, emphasizing gratitude and accountability. He acknowledged that while public support meant a great deal, true recovery would happen behind the scenes, through discipline and patience. He urged followers facing similar challenges not to compare their journeys to anyone else's, stressing that healing looks different for everyone. This chapter of David Toborowsky's life revealed a side rarely seen on reality television, a man confronting pain with honesty, supported by love, and committed to growth. The hospital room became a place of transformation, not defeat. It was where denial gave way to acceptance and fear evolved into determination. While uncertainty still loomed, one thing was clear: David was no longer avoiding his health. He was facing it head-on, armed with medical guidance, emotional support, and a renewed sense of purpose. And as he prepared to transition from hospital care to long-term recovery, his journey stood as a powerful reminder that even the strongest individuals must sometimes slow down to heal. Okay, thank you friends for watching this video till the end. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.